remember, it's not about the project. It's not about what we start with or what we end with. It's about the story. So welcome to Garage Story. This is where we grow. Let's go break a wrench. Hello everyone, welcome back to Garage Story. So I had a plan and things didn't go according to that plan, but that's normal. What else is new? So there are a couple of mowers I wanted to work on in this video, one of which was introduced at the end of last week's video, but things didn't go according to plan. So over the course of time, I've had lots of listings for mowers on Marketplace, and someone reached out on a very old listing I had, which I had not taken down, for the Yazoo Kees ZT Max. The mower is listed for $2,000, and I thought, that might be worth my time to go see if I can get that mower ready to sell for, even if I got $1,500, that would be fantastic. That kind of got bumped to the front of the line. But there are some issues. So last I knew, this mower had some electrical issues that needed to be fixed up. I think when we left it sitting, it was not really even starting. So in this video, we're gonna see if we can fix that issue with the electrical system to get it running and see what else comes up along the way. I think there's some other general updates that may need to happen. The fan was broken on the flywheel, so we wanted to get that swapped out. And spoiler alert, just because I really want to be honest with my subscribers and viewers, I don't get things fixed to my satisfaction in this video. But that's okay. Remember, it's about the story. Okay, so trying to troubleshoot the Yazoo Kees and its electrical things. So in the past, we've replaced all these relays here, and yeah, I need to bolt them back up. The fuses are good. I replaced the ignition switch. And we just got the battery charged up last night, and I did notice last night it seemed like when I arced the solenoid it would crank over some, but not like enough to fire off. Today the first check I'm doing is seeing if the solenoid is getting impetus to contact to try to start, impetus from the ignition switch. So to do that, this one has a single wire input, which is this yellow wire here. I pulled it off. There's a little spade connector down there. My fingers on, you probably can't see it. So I stuck my positive in there. My negative is on there. I'm holding my negative onto the battery. I hit the key. Now we get over 12 volts. Okay, so what that tells me is the ignition switch is working and the solenoid is not working. So that's good because we're running out of other things in the electrical system to replace. So I want to go ahead and arc the solenoid, see how strong it cranks. Then we will go see if we can find another solenoid to swap in here. I think that's the issue now. I think that battery, even though it charged up last night, I think it's near the end of its life. I'm gonna go ahead and see if I can find another solenoid like this one. So we've got a single input solenoid, but most of the solenoids I deal with are a dual input like this one. I may be looking for a little bit before I find a satisfactory substitution. It does have a Kawasaki engine, so maybe if I go to another mower that had a Kawasaki engine. No, that looks like a traditional solenoid. This one's a single input. This one may work. With any of these used parts, I don't know if they actually work. I think I've also found another option over here in this mower. So I'll just have to remove this plate right here. But first I'm gonna pull out the problem solenoid. So it was a little bit of a pain to get the solenoid out because it turned out the bolt that was holding it had a nut on the back side, and well, actually the nut was on the top side and the bolt head was on the underside of the mower. It's a little tight to get in there. Vice grips worked. I was trying to take the nut off with my ratchet and it wasn't seeming to work real well, so I hit it real quick with that and zipped that thing right off of there, and I lost the nut. Unless it's in here somewhere. All that to say, here's the solenoid, and I'm noticing this thing is pretty rusty. So I wanted to check and see if it's good, and I actually just did this off camera already. So I hooked it up to jumper cables, which I'll show you what I did. I basically hooked up the negative side to the case, one of these ears here, and then I just barely touched the positive here to see if I heard it click. And sure enough, it clicked, although it's way more power than would typically run to the solenoid, I believe. I think it's entirely possible that this solenoid is not bad, but I'm just noticing how rusty my input spade is, and even my ear that grounds it. I'm kind of wondering if we do some wire brushing, if we can, and maybe some sandpaper, if we can get this thing back up to snuff, working again. All right, I think we got this cleaned up pretty well with the Dremel and wire brush, and I think we got the bolt that came out of there cleaned up pretty well, and I think I found a nut that'll fit on it, and I found another complete set, another spare nut. All right, we got the solenoid back on here. I have it flipped around by accident, but I don't think it makes any difference. So we got our jumper pack hooked up and try the key, see if it does anything. Nothing. Nothing at all. Man, all that work and still didn't fix it. That's a bummer. I'm gonna see if I can arc the solenoid again. Just make sure we got power there. Okay, so that's working. I think this solenoid is just tired. Okay, so I got a jumper wire here so I could check something real quick. So if I arc between my positive side and my control side, I still get a nice click. But it's not connecting my internal part. Obviously I can just arc across the solenoids, and that happens. So yeah, I think the solenoid's shot. Enough wasting time with this solenoid. Let's go get the other one. Here is the solenoid. Yeah, it appears to be a single input, so I should be able to just zip this thing out of here. Got it. That was quick. Hopefully this thing will work. All right, new old solenoid is installed. We'll see if it works. Key on. Nothing. Oh no. This is frustrating. Am I just getting a bad ground for my solenoids? Is that the problem? Or is it the fact that I just put in a 23-year-old solenoid and was hoping it was good? I'm gonna jumper the control side and see how it goes here. So I feel like the voltage coming from my ignition switch may not be enough. So everything seemed like it was working fine, but as a whole it wasn't. So I tried to clean off the end of my control wire that goes to the solenoid. I used a little flat screwdriver to stick in that connector and some picks and stuff, and anyway, now it seems to be working. So observe. Nice. Nothing's even jumping the battery right now. So I'm gonna turn the fuel on. Probably hook up the jumper battery just so the battery doesn't run down, and see if this thing will fire. Fuel filter looks dry. I'm going to try the left-hand tank. Ugh, lost my prime. That stinks. Alright, let's see if we can get it running this time. It may be an actual issue in the carburetor. My backfire solenoid might be frozen. We'll see. Let's give it a whiff of carb cleaner. Yeah, I think that's it. I think we're not getting fuel through the carburetor. That sounded better. Okay, well, I'm pretty confident of the issue now. I think it's the backfire solenoid not letting fuel into the carburetor. So we'll try to get that addressed, which I did that like a year and a half ago or 2 years ago. Shouldn't be too bad. Well, I wasn't expecting this. Here's the wire for my fuel shutoff solenoid. It's not even attached. I'm trying to remember. Does it even match on this one, or did we use an alternative one? We've got some funkery going on here, but it's my funkery. Okay, so basically I put an old solenoid in there that was frozen up in the retracted position to basically be instead of a solenoid. Now look at the bottom of the football. That's pretty yucky. I cleaned this up a year or two ago, but I'm guessing that we got crud from the bottoms of the tanks or somewhere. I tried to flush stuff out if I remember right, but it looks kind of yucky now. So I don't think it's getting good fuel. I'm gonna see if I can clean it in place or without pulling off too much, but we'll see. So let me tell you what happened there. So I was getting close to possibly buying a replacement carburetor because I wasn't getting that one working right, and it does not have the correct shut-off solenoid in there. Before I spent the money on another carburetor, I decided to take it apart one more time, and there's a jet in there that was partially open that was not really clean, which is actually like, I think the main jet where the fuel comes up through in the side of the main tower there. So I cleared that out really good, put the carburetor back on there, squirted some gas in the carburetor. She fired right up. At that point, I cranked it a little bit first to get fuel in the system, but it was taking a bit of time. So I went ahead and squirted gas in there and fired up, and she's idling along just fine right now. So, victory, we got it running again. So what happens if you let stuff sit too long? Now I can tell the interested buyer that it actually runs. I re-engaged the transmissions, which I tried to de-engage for towing, but didn't seem to de-engage very well. Either that or my brake was on. I wonder if just now occurred to me that maybe my brake was on, that's why they wouldn't roll. Anyway, it's a little wet out there, but I want to go ahead and take it for a test spin. So let's towel off the seat, grab our hearing protector, and let's go have some fun. Runs pretty good, except I just killed it going down to idle. I think the starter was a little creaky. Battery just gave up. Anyway, it runs now, which is good. I may go ahead and get a new bolt to put in the bottom of the carburetor there. I don't like the fuel shut off back flash solenoids or whatever they're called, because they tend to freeze up. So I may just put a bolt in there instead. And I may try to lubricate the starter and other odd stuff, but it runs now. So we'll see where we end up on this in the next few days, or if we do anything else at all. I'll let the guy know that it runs now. That's where we're at now. She runs. I was cleaning up and found my vice grips there. I totally forgot. I used those as a ghost hand or whatever you call it, which makes me wonder, where did I have this thing parked? Because I lost oh yes, there's one of my nuts I lost. Woohoo! I don't know if it shows up on camera or not, but if you look in there, a lot of our fan blades are missing from this fan. So I'm gonna go see if we can get another one. I think I've got one out there. Let's go get it. So I think there's another one over there on that engine that will work fine, that I'm pretty sure is the same. But that one looked a little bit deteriorated as well, so I'm going to try to get the one off this engine. I'm not 100% sure this is the same engine because I can't open this hood because it's too close to this mower. So I decided to bring the backhoe out here to see if I can move this mower. Probably just pull it over that way. We'll see how that goes. But this mower is kind of infamous to me. I hurt my back moving this mower. I'm pretty sure it's this one. Yeah, it's got the Kohler. I picked up 2 mowers. I was trying to load them myself onto the trailer. They were dead mowers. I don't think I had the winch working at the time, or maybe I didn't use I don't know why I wasn't using the come along. I was just trying to get this on the trailer, and I was doing the squat and pull, which is basically, well, I can kind of demonstrate. I was getting down and like trying to pull it on like this onto the trailer. Something gave out in my back, and that wasn't good. It's kind of given me problems ever since then. So I always knew I needed to be careful with my back. You know, you hear lots of people say that. It's true, you need to be careful with your back. So I have found out that sometimes you can kind of basically just leverage your elbows on your knees and kind of take your back out of the equation. But it was just one of those things, oh, this isn't feeling good. I know I probably shouldn't do this, but I hadn't hurt anything yet. It just knew it was kind of not the idealistic way to try to yank a mower on. But I was trying to get just a little farther on. Ever since then, at times my back bothers me. It's not super bad. It doesn't slow me down that much, but I don't know. I should probably go to a chiropractor at some point. But be careful with your back. And the interesting thing is today, I had no intention of moving this by hand. I figured I should use my equipment, use the backhoe. Save the back, use the backhoe. That's a good motto. Save the back, use the backhoe. I think I needed more strap on that one. Oh well. All right, that worked out well enough. We're over here. But yeah, now I'm glad that I'm using a backhoe now to move the same mower that I hurt my back on. Now we can open this hood. Oh, it's got a little tab there. Oh yeah, yep, Kawasaki 17 horsepower V-twin. Perfect. That starter does not look the same though. So here I am, I'm probably gonna be taking a fan off this one and a starter off that one. All right, well the cover removal went pretty smooth and straightforward. And looks like the fan is held on by the flywheel bolt. So 1/2-inch impact driver to the rescue. Sometimes these are easy, but when they're hard, they're hard. And it's nice to have the right tool for the job. That made it easy. Still a lot of right tools I could stand to get, but let's take it one tool at a time. There is our fan. This one looks like it's in pretty good shape. I like that. All right, so we have the Yazoo Kees pulled into the shop, so it's a little easier to work on. And it kind of sort of runs, but has some issues and a lot of smallish things I'd like to fix before I have a prospective buyer come and look at it. Of course, I'm gonna put the new fan on there. New fan. Probably put this starter on there. This one on there is making some noise. I may try to lubricate both of them. We've got a new battery we're gonna throw on there as well. And I'm gonna try to flush out the whole fuel system, or at least drain out everything that I can and just try to flush it a little bit and put in a new fuel filter. And I bought some little bolts, so I'm gonna replace that solenoid on the bottom of the carburetor, which is kind of it's a dummy solenoid. It's not the right one for the system. It's just a frozen up one that plugs a hole. So I got some bolts. I want to cut them down because I couldn't get anything quite short enough, and put one of those bolts in the bottom so I don't have to worry about the solenoid accidentally blocking fuel flow, because I think it might be blocking a little bit of fuel flow. And I also may put some bump stops under the seat. I found some rubber ones on one of the old Cub Cadet Zero Turns I picked up for free that did not have engines in them. And I'm going to see if I can maybe find a way to mount them right here. So hopefully by the time I'm finished with this mower will start and run easily without issues. That would be really good. Yeah, that fan was pretty toast. Probably need to get another replacement one to go where I pulled this one from. And we have like a handful or more, there's more pieces that were sitting on top of the engine. It's good to get those out of here. This engine actually looks really tight, so that's good. Doesn't really have oil leaks or anything. Alright, so I got the old starter out, which is this one, and this is the new one, which I oiled up this one, and listen to the difference. I'll do the old one first. Now let's listen to the new one. To me, the new one sounds better. It sounds like it just sounds a little smoother, more solid. When I rotate it, it feels like it has more of a resistance maybe from the brushes. Like it's just a stronger starter. Like the brushes may not be worn down quite as much. I'm gonna go ahead and pull off the wire from here and throw this thing in. Then we can start reassembling the engine. Alright, time to flush the tanks out. Got my old gas can that I'm going to put all the junk gas into. I'll disconnect the hose, start using my siphon pump, sucking it all out. Then once both tanks seem empty, I'll put some fresh gas in there and try to pull it all out as well. Put in the new fuel filter and probably just put fresh gas in and see how it goes. I don't think there's a whole lot in these gas tanks, so it shouldn't be too hard. Alright, so let me explain what's going on here. I took the carburetor back off and pulled it apart. The reason I took this apart, as mentioned, was because I wanted to use a bolt instead of this shutoff solenoid, which isn't even the correct one for the carburetor, but it was retracted, whereas the old style had a longer needle that went up and seated in here somewhere in one of those main jets. So basically it wouldn't run with that one. It ran with this one, but I'm wondering if it'll run better with the bolt. And this would be my preference because I don't like having a broken solenoid in there. It just seems kind of janky. So problem is now I need to cut this bolt down because the bolt is too long. Just do my best to slice it and then deburr it. Because that's the problem with cutting off a bolt, is that then you lose your chamfer and whatnot, and you can create burrs and it'll be hard to thread in again. So that's what we're going to be fighting. I've had this set probably 20 years now. I don't know. I've had it a long time. I think I got the Dremel around the same time. And one of them I think was free with rebates, and the other was like $30. I've used them quite a bit over the years, not like a ton, but definitely handy to have. Alright, so this has cooled down a little bit. Let's see if this will thread in here. Wow. What do you know? That was not that hard. To have this thing apart, I'll probably blast through these jets again. Never hurts. I don't want to take it apart again. This is a little booger that I missed last time. Didn't realize that was my issue. Let's go put it back in. This may work. I hope so. Alrighty, we got everything back together, a new battery in, and I'm basically going to run the fuel pump, make sure it's pulling fuel through. I'm pretty sure it is, but also hopefully get any last vestiges of dirt out of the system. Then I will hook it back up to the carburetor, and we'll see how well this thing starts and runs. I'm quite hopeful. I'm going to crank it first to kind of purge the air out of the system, and it should dump it into that gas tank over there, and we will go from there. Hoping to start seeing some fuel through there. Okay. So that's making me wonder if my fuel pump might be getting tired. But the new starter sounds pretty good. I'm gonna go ahead and swap out this fuel pump with another one that I think is better. I've got jumper cables hooked up so this battery won't die. I did try to charge it up a little bit, and I swapped out the fuel pump with another old fuel pump that I think works. So here goes nothing. Let's crank till we get some fuel out here. I don't know if the long hose is the issue. That's weird. It's like nothing's coming out that hose. If I take this off, let's see if it's squirting gas out. Okay, I think we should be getting enough gas flow. Let's hook this thing up. So I'll put it on full choke, and let's see how it goes. Starter's starting to smoke a little bit, so I'm going to give it a little help here. I'm not sure why it needs help though. I'm gonna let it idle there a little bit. I'm not happy it took so long. I guess it just is hard to get air out of the system once it's dry, the fuel system. The real test is gonna see how well it works from this point, mechanically. It sounds really good, it's idling. Well, sometimes things go easy. All right, well that's a wrap for this video, and I'll be honest with you guys, things did not go the way I wanted them to. We had a lot of successes, but it didn't ultimately lead to the overall goal of having this mower ready to sell right now. But as I was thinking back through the week and what happened, I realized that there was a lot of things that went well. We fixed the presenting issue of the electrical problems. We got the fuel system cleaned out. We did a lot of other stuff. We got the fan swapped out. We swapped out the starter, which I don't know if that was even really necessary, and I may put the other one back in, but that's an aside. We worked on the carburetor, we were learning stuff, we were growing, and you could say, and I was even thinking this, that the road to success is lined with failures, and that failures are the path to success. But really here, I don't even know if it's right to say that we failed, because we succeeded on the presenting issues. It's just other things came up that we have not resolved yet. So hopefully we'll have another video soon where we get this mower more completely fixed. But I think we had a lot of good progress this week, and it kind of encouraged me to go back and think about it a little bit more, because at the end of the week, I felt like I'd failed. This was a lousy video, but in reality, we got a lot done. Things are getting done. We're moving forward, and I may order some parts. I may order a new carburetor for this thing, aftermarket one, because they're way cheaper than brand new carburetors. You'll find out in the next video if I decide to do that. For now, guys, as always, stay safe, keep making stories, go out and break a wrench. We'll catch you on the next one. There's the mower I really want to get to.